This morning, actually, in about 15-20 minutes, we'll finally proceed to the Fraud Enforcement and Recovery Act. I think the consideration of it is long overdue. It was unnecessarily delayed. This is anti-fraud legislation. We know the kind of fraud that's going on, especially in the mortgage area around this country. With this legislation, we hope we can help rebuild our nation's capacity to investigate and prosecute mortgage and corporate frauds. These are frauds that have contributed to the situation and economic crises we're in already. It'll provide tools for law enforcement. It'll provide needed laws for them. And we looked at something like this back at 2 decades ago during the savings and loan crises. And we took steps necessary to hold people accountable for the damage. Every one of us, we go home on weekends, we hear the same thing. Well, who's going after the people that cause this fraud? Now, I believe very strongly that we need to. Senator Kaufman and I introduced this legislation with Senator Grassley in February. In March, the Judiciary Committee overwhelmingly voted to support the legislation. Like virtually all legislation I bring to the floor, it's bipartisan, has more than a dozen senators as co-sponsors. It should pass the Senate without further delay, and this shows what's happened. I mean, here's the area of mortgage fraud. In 1998, you see the chart down here. Look where it was by last year. I mean, it's gone up 680% over the past 5 years, more than 2,800% in the past decade. We're losing more than $4 billion each year to mortgage fraud alone. And then you have massive new corporate frauds like the $65 billion Ponzi scheme of Bernard Madoff. This is doing even more. In the past 2 weeks alone, the Justice Department announced prosecutions in mortgage and security scams involving more than $200 million in fraud. Even in my own little state of Vermont, we uncovered a $26 million mortgage scam involving more than 50 properties. What we want to do is recover money from these mortgage scams. But we want to help the people, we want to protect the people who are losing their life savings, losing their homes because of mortgage scams. And I want to do more than just have fines. You know, if somebody's doing a $100 million mortgage scam and they get a $10 million fine, it's just part of the cost of doing business. If they think those who are doing it are actually going to go to jail and spend time in jail, they're going to think twice. There are a lot of vulnerable people in this country with this economy. A lot of vulnerable people are losing their homes, are losing their life savings to scams and mortgage fraud. We want to give the Justice Department the teeth so they can stop it.